Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker-owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique real estate firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing consultants who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my real estate team member, Mary Baker, and I, along with the director of Boston Connect Real Estate, Melissa Wallace, provide you with our unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We like to mix it up sometimes, so not only will you hear our perspective on real estate topics, but you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of some of our real estate agents at Boston Connect Real Estate and the preferred professionals that we trust. Be part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team or one of the dedicated agents at Boston Connect Real Estate to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with us at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And hello to all our South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable with Boston Connect Real Estate's broker team. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined in studio tonight with my team members, Sharon McNamara and Mary Baker.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Mary's laughing at me.
Because you get so excited when we go
Yeah,
live.
she really does pet me up. I don't know how she does that. It's like we're all sitting here like, oh, I'm exhausted. And
We literally were all just complaining. I'm so tired. I almost sent Sharon a text message this morning. I wrote it out and everything after I got out of the shower. I'm like, I think I'm just going to lay back down. I'm just really tired. And then I just deleted it. I'm like, I just have to man up and just get ready and come in.
Woman up.
Woman up. Well, maybe tomorrow I'll send that text. I'm already tired tomorrow. But
at least I have a head start. I'll know.
Yeah. We are joined tonight by a very special guest. I believe she joined us before, though,
yes.
right? Correct. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight we
doesn't make her any less special.
No. She is the one, the only Lieutenant, and I don't want to say your last name wrong, but it's Lieutenant LaPierre.
Correct.
Right? Correct. Yes. Okay. From the Pembroke Police Department. I want to introduce her like properly. I don't want to. I know we've been calling her by her first name, but I want to say oh, Lieutenant LaPierre.
Is that how we should refer to you as Lieutenant?
Or Wendy.
You prefer Wendy?
Okay, she prefers Wendy.
Can we call you Lieutenant Wendy? Because you earned your title. I feel like we should give it to you. So we were also supposed to be joined tonight by Chief McCormick. He's the chief of the fire department. But now that he's chief, he has he gets called out on duty, so he wasn't able to make it tonight. But I know that Lieutenant Wendy is going to help us with some of the safety things we want to talk about when it comes to fire safety. So, but Lieutenant LaPierre, if you could just tell us a little bit more about you, because I know the last time, I'm not going to lie, I think Ken McCormick stole the show. Chief McCormick stole the show. Yeah. We can say whatever we want about him tonight because he's not here. No, but he is a doll. But if you could just tell us a little bit about you and, how long you've been with the department and, how you've grown to lieutenant. I know that you are very, very well respected in our community. I've been here for 29 years, and it's always nice when you hear nice things about our people who are in rank, I guess, and in charge. And it's so nice that you are there. I think that, one day we want you to be captain, but we'll talk to you about that another day. Or the chief or something, right?
Well, thank you. So Wendy, I've been here for a little over 23 years.
Wow.
A lieutenant since 2018. Prior to that, I was a sergeant, and I spent almost 15 years in patrol. I work days and nights, and I'm in charge of grants, the detective unit, schools, and it's about all I do.
Yeah, that's all I do, which
That
is
sounds
just
like
about,
a handful.
just about everything is on that list. So, so tonight we wanted to talk about back to school safety. I know the past couple of weeks you've probably been very busy, your capacity with working with the schools and everything. So we just wanted to really reach out. It isn't just for Pembroke, even though that's where Lieutenant LaPierre is from. It's for all towns in general. So to all of our WATD listeners. And then Mel, do you want to let our listeners also know about where we are on Facebook and how they can get questions to us and Lieutenant Wendy?
So we are live on Facebook. If you are friends with Sharon Costa McNamara, you can see us, but it is also shared on our team page, McNamara Broker Team, Boston Connect Real Estate. If you're a member of any of the Connect pages, so Pembroke Connect, Hanover Connect, Marshfield Connect, all those fun pages, you can see us there. You can interact with us on, our little live there. Or if you're feeling adventurous, you can give us a call at the studio, 781-827-4900.
Yeah, we have John Shea with us this evening. So hello, John.
Hello. Happy
John.
almost fall.
Yeah, we have John tonight. So give John a call and he'll get you to us.
Just a quick
and to Lieutenant Wendy.
Just a quick correction. It's 837-4900.
I know. I thought of that afterwards, and I was like, I don't think John's going to correct me, but you did. So there we go.
So the phone number to the studio is 781-837-4900. And as I said, John is in studio, and he'll get you over to us with any questions. So feel free to do that.
I've only been saying it for 5 years, but here we are.
That's all right. Hey, it's been one of those days.
One of those days.
Yes. So I know getting back into the process of it's probably been a lot, actually, Wendy, because, we were in COVID for so long that now it's almost like back to school for the first time in 2 years.
Exactly.
So do you want to tell us a little bit? Oh, Mel, why don't you take it because you have the agenda right there, like what topics you wanted to start with first?
So I know Sharon had talked to Ken about sort of you guys coming on and getting sort of back into the swing of things. When Ken was on with Lisa Cullity a couple of weeks ago, they talked about, is this going to be the quote unquote like normalcy that we're sort of used to with the whole masks and everything. So we'll sort of stay away from that part, but more of like, traveling to school. I know that in some towns there's, bus driver shortages and stuff. So like, are we seeing anything different in sort of that line of
pickup and drop offs?
So we do see quite a bit of traffic coming in and out of all of the schools. I can't speak to how much different it was from 2 years ago, but there is quite a bit of traffic. Couple of differences. The bus drivers have to drive with the windows down now. Kids are obviously masked.
How's that going to work in the winter?
Yeah.
I think the same way it did, last year when they went back to school. They just have to be down a certain amount and just dress for the weather.
Bundle up.
Bundle up. Everybody gets a scarf as they get on board.
Yeah. I haven't noticed that. I've been so where I live, I watch the school bus kind of come down while I walk the dogs. And I noticed that everybody's wearing a mask, the bus driver, the kids that are getting on and everything. But I haven't noticed that the windows are down. I'll have to pay attention to that.
Yep, they absolutely should be down.
Yeah. I just haven't. I'm not saying they're not. I just haven't.
Right.
I just haven't noticed it. I'm not like
tattling on the Pembroke school system.
Mary's your newest knock at the Pembroke Police Department.
Maybe I just thought, I was like, oh, it must be hot in there. It's been nice weather recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting.
So do we have a shortage? This isn't in but we just sort of put any questions out there. You may not know the answer to this, but do we have a shortage of bus drivers? I've been seeing that on the news.
So I'm not sure if we have permanent bus drivers, but it doesn't seem like it's been a problem here. I drive by the schools every morning at 7, and it looks like the same amount as previous years. And we have complaints, so.
Okay.
Everyone's doing well.
I wonder if there's a whole group of people that aren't putting their kids on the buses anymore, though, that are just actually dropping them off or physically bringing them to school.
I don't know.
With working from home.
Maybe if they're working from home, they
might have more flexibility to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have children. Neither do you.
And apparently I'm not that observant, so I haven't noticed how many people are on the bus.
Okay, so maybe on the lines of traveling, to school, what are your sort of top travel tips for safety when it comes to either taking the bus or riding a bike, right? Like walking to school, sort of, we can go through that. I was researching this earlier, so I have, if you look at my agenda, you can look at all that little fun stuff, because I did learn something new, which I'll bring it up later.
Okay.
Okay, so sure. It's kids are walking to school, we obviously want them to walk against traffic on a sidewalk if possible. They need to look both ways. If they're crossing in a crosswalk, make sure that they look at the operators of vehicles going both ways to make sure they see them. If they're riding a bike, again, make sure they're on the proper side of the road, wear a helmet, wear reflective gear. Driving to school, this is especially for the kids that are driving to school. If they're new drivers, if they're junior operators within the first 6 months, absolutely no passengers unless they're siblings. They can lose their license for a certain amount of time. There's fines. Speeding, if you're a junior operator, you lose your license.
No, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Don't do that.
also the texting and driving, we all have to be careful with that. Even the talking while driving, if it's not hands-free.
Yeah, what are the rules
what
on
are the
that?
rules
Can you
with that?
tell me what the rules are on that? Because I have hands-free, so I don't even know what the rules are.
Not so much maybe even texting, but like talking on the phone, like where should your phone be? Obviously not in your hand. But I always get nervous.
Is that you're not supposed to have it up to your ear? You're not supposed to hold it to your ear anymore?
No, it's all as of, I believe, April 1st, 2020.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all hands free. So you can't like make a phone call.
No,
how do you dial it if you can't touch it?
You talk to it.
yeah, you can talk. The newer car, you make the phone call before you leave where you're at, and you talk, but you just can't have anything in your hands. Should be on speaker through like Apple Play or whatnot.
I have to get like a better system in my car then, because every time I say call so-and-so, it's like, oh, this person? Nope, not somebody that I haven't talked to in 20 years. No thanks.
Yeah, you know what? I have to tell you, my daughter, Casey, she now, recently passed the bar and is working for a big law firm in the city. And she got busted. She was a junior operator and she had friends in her car. And she got busted.
A friend of mine got busted with me in the car.
Not with the cops, but
No,
like by
I
her
had-
mother. And that was worse than getting busted
oh.
by the cops.
We got busted by the cops in Medford, and I had to walk home.
Oy.
Wasn't fun.
So
This was 16 years ago.
Yeah.
So here's another thing too, is I know like my daughter Mackenzie, so she's 25 now. I'm wondering if this is going to be an issue for, because the kids who just got their license last year and then they weren't driving back and forth to school. So they were home. So they didn't really have a lot of practice, right? So when they get that first snowfall, a lot of them aren't going to be familiar with driving in the snow. That's what happened to my daughter, Mackenzie. Her class didn't have a lot of experience driving in the snow because there was no snow the year before. So it was, as soon as it snowed, there were cars all over the place.
That's a little nerve wracking.
Right.
Yeah. So,
I'm 32 and I don't like to drive in the snow.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of snow last year, so we just want everybody to be careful this upcoming year.
Yep. All right.
Also, school buses, I can't stress enough how important it is to stop for school buses when somebody's letting a kid off or getting on. That's a $255 fine. If you,
Don't you think that should be more? I think it should be more. I saw something horrifying on the
you
news.
see the video the other day?
Yeah, scary.
What was the video?
The video was somebody, a UPS truck, right?
Oh, yeah, I saw that the other day. That was scary. That was very scary.
Yeah, don't try to pass it.
100 feet away from the back of a bus as well. That's a $40 fine if you, if you're tailgating a bus. So you need to stay at least 100 feet away.
Well, yeah, because what if there's an emergency? Don't they use the back hatch to get out?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, like the back door.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to escape that one.
Can I ask, has anybody really ever gotten a ticket for any of these things? Like,
Well, I'm sure people
Of
have.
course.
Yeah, there's fines for a reason. They had to come from
Crosswalk
somewhere.
failing to stop, of course, yeah.
okay. Yeah, we seem to be breaking up a little bit when she's talking and we're talking. So we're going to give you more space to do more of your talking. Okay. So keep on going with the bike ride. Well, one thing too, though, I'm sorry, we're getting new sidewalks. No, I'm talking about, and she was talking about like, make sure you walk against the traffic. But when I used to go running and I would run against the traffic and there were no sidewalks on 27, there are a lot of, not just females, but what I encountered were a lot of females put mascara on while they're driving their car. And when they look up, they're like, oh, I'm on the side of the road and so are you. So I don't even know. Is it even like, do you really even let your kid, do people even, I grew up on Dorchester Ave. I can't even believe I'm asking this question, but do they let their kids just walk up 27 to go to school, to go to Bryanville?
I don't see a lot of elementary kids walking to school, but I do see kids walking across 27 to get to the middle school in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's dangerous.
You should always be facing the traffic because at least you have a fighting chance to get out of the way. If you see somebody coming at you, otherwise they're going to hit you from behind.
Yeah. Okay, that's good advice.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I think that's even more prevalent than walking with biking. I see it all the time coming up Mattakesett Street, and it's just because that's where I live, that the kids are on bikes on the opposite side. And I'm like, you can't see me. I can't get around you. And there's somebody swerving from the other side. Like, kids, go against the traffic when you're riding your bike, seriously, because it scared me once or twice.
Especially now that we're getting into fall and winter where it's darker for long periods of time now. So it's where the reflective things like, when I was growing up, everyone had like something like reflective on their backpacks that like walked to school in the middle of the winter. Cause I always used to walk when I was in high school or when I was in middle school. Like, we didn't take the bus. Like, we always walked. We had to walk. So everyone always had something on them because it was pitch dark when we would leave for school in the morning.
So in like our audience tonight, so again, you're listening to WATD Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara and our team here, Mary Baker and Melissa Wallace. And we are very fortunate tonight to have Lieutenant Wendy LaPierre with us from the Pembroke Police Department. Ken McCormick, Chief, was not able to join us tonight. He had a meeting. So we just like to give some safety tips, and that's what we wanted our conversation to be about tonight as school gets back in order. But I wonder, the audience tonight, we don't have the kids listening, so hopefully we have some of the parents. But do you go into the schools and give these tips to the kids?
We haven't been in the schools because of COVID. And honestly, we do have a school resource officer, Officer Kirby. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he gets up and talks about this, but that is kind of a good idea.
Yeah.
But you go to driver's ed, and they should be learning this at driver's ed.
Mm-hmm. Well, because that's another thing, too, is if you have new junior drivers on their way to school at the same time that kids are walking to school, you know what I mean? You have to sort of be paying attention. So, okay. All right. Did you have other tips, too? I see you're looking at some stuff there.
I think that's basically just obey the speed limits. I mean, and pay attention. That's the biggest thing.
Something I'll be honest. Something that I sort of catch myself doing sometimes is that if I'm going through the same streets and everything, I get very familiar and very comfortable, and I guess I don't pay attention to the speed limit because I felt like, I've driven this road 10,000 times. But if somebody was to ask me, what's the speed limit on this street? I'd be like, I don't know. And they'd be like, well, that's a school zone. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like you get comfortable sort of just with, you sort of get your
commute.
Your commute. So you don't really pay attention, but you really should. And that's something that I need to be more aware of, is because, I get nervous. Like if I like think that, oh my gosh, am I speeding? Like all of a sudden I'm like, you sort of get into a daze sometimes when you drive,
And you need to snap out of it.
Snap out of it. But I think paying attention to the school zones, obviously, because they used to have like flashing lights. Do they have flashing lights still?
I think the middle school does.
We'll have 20 miles an hour. But I believe that the high school and Hobmarket kind of off the main road. So there is there, but it's still, I would observe the 20 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. And two, there's a lot of construction going on right now in Pembroke, right on 36. So I think that's really important too, that people are paying attention. I mean, I know that we're talking about back to school safety, but in general, I just feel like people need to slow down, because if you're going to be late for your appointment, you're going to be late for your appointment. You just have to sort of either plan better and be prepared for traffic. Like I had a doctor's appointment today in Weymouth, and I was so proud of myself because I was like, I have just given myself 50 minutes to probably go 25-minute ride. And I said, maybe I'll hit some traffic. I was 5 minutes late. Like, so you just
even
never
with that,
know.
I
Yeah,
would
because
leave
this,
right now if I had to drive to Weymouth. There's nothing but traffic there.
Did you hit school buses on the way?
I hit school buses. Yeah. I got behind somebody who obviously didn't know where he was going, and I hit road construction.
Yeah.
But you know what? I got myself worked up, and I was like, there isn't a flipping thing I can do about this right now, unless I can get my new car to fly over all of this. So I think being patient is a really good, a really good tip for people as well, especially when you are getting behind a school bus, because I will say it out loud. It is frustrating that a school bus stops at every other house. Why don't they have bus stops? So, right? You know what I'm talking about. You all know it. So, okay.
I'm curious about that. Is that still something with drop off? So I know, I don't have kids in the school systems yet, but I have my nieces and nephews that were going to Bryantville. When they were dropping off in the driveways, somebody had to physically be in the driveway to get them. Is that still, do you know if that's still a thing with the schools?
I believe kindergarten, there has to be somebody out there, but I'm not sure about other ages.
Yeah, they were like third and fourth. And I remember I was terrified that I wasn't going to be there on time because Auntie runs about 10 minutes late to everything that she's doing. Mm-hmm. And I just made it as they were coming around the corner. I was like, I'm here. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to be there for you got to get the kid off the bus.
Well, that at some point was a safety or was a safety concern for kids in the elementary school systems going home without a parent being in attendance or somebody being there to pick them up. So I'm just thinking about that.
Something that I learned about the school bus. This is my fun fact. And it totally makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Your child and the bus driver should always be able to make eye contact. So when you're crossing the street, so like when the child gets off the bus, they have to be a certain distance from the bus so they can have eye contact from the bus driver. So the bus driver should always be able to see the kid. I learned that today on the internet, and that makes sense to me.
Well, so I've
never thought of it before.
I've actually seen that in play where they're stopped. So the bus driver is stopped, and the kids are crossing in front, not in behind, but they're crossing far enough in front that the bus driver is basically saying, "Hey, no, stop." Because somebody's being a jerk behind me. Or
they have their stop sign and they're clearly not paying attention. They're trying to pass a school bus.
But that's the purpose for it. I've seen it. It wasn't me.
I saw it on the news. UPS driver. Yeah. He is probably fired.
You're fired.
I don't think the union can save him on that one. Okay, so are there any other tips that you want to give to parents who may be listening, or maybe they have their kids in the car and they are going off to sports and things like that when it comes to walking or getting back and forth to school?
Just be careful and make sure that if you're walking, that the car sees you before you cross the street. I mean, it's just so important.
What do you think about the buddy system when you're walking to and from school?
Oh, buddy system is so important too. Having two people or three, it's just safer.
Well, walking in a group in general, I feel like, especially on some of our roads, you'll have the ability to be able to see them better if they're in a group. And two, I watch listen to a lot of murder podcasts.
Yeah, that's where I'm going right now. I mean, we don't want to scare the kids because they might be listening, but yeah.
I'm not saying anybody's
kidnappings.
But it's true. It's just you're safer in numbers. Girlfriends don't leave girlfriends out at bars. Ergo, don't walk alone by yourself anywhere.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing that must be hard, Lieutenant Wendy, is that there is like that certain age where they feel as if they are invincible. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking of like maybe like middle age girls, right? Middle school age girls. You know what I mean? Where it's walking. I have seen some of these girls walking down the street and I was like, her mother obviously didn't see her walk out the door, or she changed her clothes in the shed, because there's no way, you know what I mean? But it's just like finding themselves or whatever, But it's so dangerous. I mean, that 22-year-old, she was with her fiance, but it's really abductions. And I don't think we've ever really had a problem here in Pembroke, have we? With abductions or anything like that at the school bus?
Not in the past 24 years, no.
All right, good. That's because you're there. So you got us protected.
You guys are doing what you need to do.
That's all I had for the safety, getting to and from
Go
school.
back from school.
To and fro.
But one of the things too, just on that whole, the abduction thing, I'll just bring this up just to bring a little real estate into this. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you have any questions for us though, John Shea is at the studio, 781-837-4900. Or you can send us a message on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook as well. Any questions that you might have tonight about safety or real estate, please give us a jingle. But, and Wendy, I might have said this to you before, is that, so I've been in the real estate industry for 21 years. I've had Boston Connect. It will be 11 years, October 10th. And I've never put children's bedroom photos in any of my listings because the internet is free. And I just remember like when my kids were younger, like that's when LLB and everything was monogrammed and put your kid and that was the big thing. Don't put your kids' names on their backpacks just because of stranger danger. And that's the reason why, like maybe I'm over the top, but I never wanted to add pictures because you can tell if it's a little girl with a pink comforter and, princess stuff or a little boy with chains. So maybe I'm a little over the top, but I think that that's safety too because the internet's free.
Right.
Right.
So, listen to some of the podcasts that I listen to and you won't think you're over the top anymore. I'm just saying.
Do we have a department that just or do you have a department within your department that monitors what is going on like Facebook? And someone has to be on Pembroke Connect. I created it and the thing is a nightmare. There are times when it's, it's good sometimes and sometimes it's just really bad. Mm-hmm. But do we have somebody that takes care of that type of stuff? I'm trying to think of with these young girls and meeting up with boys and just taking off.
Yeah, so we do. We have Kevin Doyle, who is going to be a sergeant next month. He is in charge of our website. But usually before we even find anything, somebody has contacted us because there are people. I mean, we can't monitor the site 24/7, so we get things all the time from vigilant people on Facebook.
Yeah, I do too, by the way. So, all right, Mel, did we have other things on the list or did
we just wanted to go over general fall winter safety tips.
Okay, perfect. Do you have some stuff like that for us, Wendy?
I do, courtesy of Chief Ken McCormick.
All right, awesome.
Perfect. We'll go with your lead.
Okay, so basically, daylight savings will be happening in about 7 weeks. So he has done something to inspect your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. He said that you should be changing the batteries twice a year. Occasionally vacuum the dust and cobwebs around your detectors. Said that the detectors generally last about 10 years. And he said the experts recommend that you replace them after 10, even if they seem to be working fine. He said, refer to the instruction manuals. And if you think that there's a problem with them, absolutely replace them. Mm-hmm. And smoke detectors and carbon monoxide. I can't tell you how many calls we get each year of people's carbon monoxide detectors going off that would save a life had they not, it would be tragic had they not gone off.
Yeah, so I want to make a comment about this, and I was going to talk to Ken about it tonight, Chief McCormick. I really want to talk to him about this, and similar to me asking, do you get an opportunity, the police department get an opportunity to go into the schools and talk to the kids about, and I do want to actually ask more questions about that. Do we have a drug officer and, giving kids education on drugs and things too in the school? But my mother, I'm going to throw her under the bus. I know she's not listening, but she lives in one of the housing, right? Mm-hmm. So she's in an apartment, and the other night she heard the smoke detector go off. It was chirping, and it woke her up. So, and she's telling me this story as if it's okay. This is the thing that amazed me. She looked exhausted. Oh, I didn't sleep a wink last night. I heard it chirping. So I just listened for fire engines.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, wait, what? And then she's like, well, then it stopped. So, I just laid there for a while, but then I heard it do it again. So I went out to the living room and I listened again to see if I heard fire engines. And I'm literally sitting there with my mouth wide open. I don't know. You know what I mean? And again, she's almost 80. So I'm guessing like, she forgets things? Like, you know that you're supposed, when a fire alarm goes off, you sort of go off?
Was it going off or was it
chirping?
Well, it was sort of chirping, but she wasn't sure if it was going off.
So just the mere fact that she wasn't sure.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, maybe it's an alarm.
Maybe, like, she wasn't sure because she maybe hasn't heard the fire alarm go off, so she isn't sure what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And there have been incidences in her building where someone puts food on and leaves, and potentially, So it was 3 times. So you know what she did the 3rd time? She went into her bedroom and got herself an overnight bag and was waiting for the fire department to tell her if she had to leave. If they came, that they would certainly would tell her to leave. And I don't know where I was going to go. I wouldn't wake you up that late at night. And I was like, Mom, wake me up. Like, wake me up. But more importantly, just go outside and call me. So is that sort of concerning to you? Like, my mother's pretty bright, you know what I mean? Like, but that common sense, she doesn't want to bother anybody.
We would never have a problem if someone called either the business line or 911. If it's important to them, it's important to us. We all the time we go out to things and it's nothing, or we can tell somebody we just have to replace the battery, or sometimes it is something.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like 2:00 in the morning. Chances are, and hopefully you're not too busy anyways, but I'm sure that there's somebody out on patrol or that somebody could go. But the thought, like, it made me very nervous to think that our senior community they don't want to be a burden.
Yeah.
And they don't want to bother anybody, that she was literally listening for fire engines to know if her building was on fire. And that's the other thing I said. I was like, Mom, if that goes, like, if you hear that and you think it goes off, she goes, no, I sniffed around and I didn't smell anything and it wasn't warm in my apartment.
Oh my goodness. But that doesn't mean it's not warm in somebody else's.
That's what I said. I said,
she lives in a building.
Yeah, you live in a building.
It's not a standalone unit.
Yeah. I was like, well, doesn't mean it's not like flaming hot, like underneath you. Yeah. So I wanted to actually mention, I almost called Chief McCormick about that, because maybe that is something that, maybe over at the the Council on Aging, maybe that is something, as just a reminder to them. Please.
So that's a great idea. We actually just talked about scams with the elderly, and we're gonna put our elderly liaison officers on that. Go over and speak to them, and this would definitely be a good talking point with them. And they never bother us, never, ever, ever. So we want abundantly clear.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that I brought that up, because again, it made me sort of sad, but it also made me question her ability to, like, and she's fine. Like, honestly, she drives. She's
very independent.
Very, very independent. And to just think that common sense level sort of left because she didn't want to bother anybody. Mm-hmm. So anyways.
4-7 over here.
Yeah. And so to all of our listeners, I'm sure that we're not speaking directly to you, but if you have an elderly parent or neighbor or somebody like that, maybe even just reach out to them and just say, hey, we just heard this story on WATD, and Sharon was actually quite surprised that this is how her mother responded to it. Just so you know, you can always call the fire department. You can always call the police department. You can always call me as your neighbor. Yeah. As I'll come over and just, check it out. But call me from outside. That's the part that worried me. Mm-hmm.
It's assume the worst first.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I'm glad that I got that out. Sorry to make it all about me.
No, that's important.
Yeah. No, I thought it would be a good thing for the senior center to sort of talk to, our seniors about. Okay, go ahead.
Anything else about smoke detectors?
Well, I was just thinking, because you got on that topic, I wonder, with COVID last year and the kids not being in school, they didn't do like stop, drop, and roll safety. And I wonder if they'll start doing that again. But that obviously is more of a question for Ken.
I don't ever remember doing that.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I got the badge every time.
I remember having to jump out of a bus. Like, you get in and you jump out of the bus, but I don't remember like the whole stop, drop, and roll thing.
Oh yeah. Well, I was an expert. That was Van Dyke. What was his name there? Wasn't it a commercial on TV? Wendy. Yeah, I'm a lot older than you, but do you remember that commercial?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Me and Melissa are just staring at each other like, yeah.
So can I go back to the question about the police department in Pembroke, and with drug awareness and, going to the schools? I know you weren't doing that because of COVID, and hopefully things will get on track for you guys where we can start initiating some of that stuff. But like, who is giving drug awareness type programs right now for the kids to understand?
Well, so right now, as I said before, we only have Officer Kirby in the schools. We normally have a dare camp over the summer, but again, this year, we didn't participate in it because of COVID. And we hope to, be back into it next year. It's a week-long school for, I believe, it's actually a camp for 6th and 7th graders.
I think Christopher McNamara did it. My nephew did it. My godson.
Sorry, go ahead. I still have my DARE shirts from St. Margaret's from 7th and 8th grade.
So COVID really has impacted a lot of things that we haven't even really hit upon. You know what I mean? It's just it seems like, you know what I mean? You don't even think about these things where in order for them to be, for the kids, for the police department, obviously the police department has to be protected not to get COVID and everything because their job is bigger than some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's weird to think about it right now.
All of the things that were norm, not necessarily being the norm anymore.
Are you having to wear masks?
In the station, not right now. It's not required in public buildings here.
What about if you pull someone over? Do you have
no, because you're outside and you're not generally with somebody for more than 15 minutes within 6 feet of them. So
yeah,
that's a good question.
I have a question.
I saw someone get pulled over the other day. I was just curious. Not me.
Are you getting people who are calling the police station? This is just now we're getting a little silly because it's getting late, and I've been doing this starvation diet called intermittent fasting. So I'm a little silly right now. But do you get people calling the police department saying, I went into so-and-so and they didn't have a mask on? Are people doing that type of stuff?
Last year when there was a mandate, but not lately, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Last year. That was a last year question.
And I just thought of it now, though.
Yes. All right. Getting back to safety, ladies.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So anything else with the smoke detectors? I feel like we sort of went over that part. We talked about changing the batteries twice a year, right? Okay.
Yep.
Can we talk about your car, safety with your car with the winter and fall months? So something that Ken McCormick had forwarded to us that I was reading earlier was about your windshield wipers. So it's one of the least expensive parts of your car, but one of the most important parts of your car is your windshield wiper. Again, had a blonde moment today, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty smart. It's one of the least expensive parts of your car, but one of the most important because you can't see out of your windshield 100%. Without your windshield wipers going.
But that is actually, if you have some other tips too, Wendy, I'm thinking about when it snows and things like that. What are the requirements for people who have a lot of snow on their roof?
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's called
so you have to completely clear your car of all snow so that it doesn't come off onto someone else, cause a hazard. We want you to keep an emergency kit in your car, just so, if you ever break down, you have, blankets, you might have something that will help start your car. You might have food, water, an extra charger, maybe a battery charger because you wouldn't be able to generally do it if your car had died. Have reflective clothing in the car as well.
That's on my list. I used to have a little go bag or a little go box in the back of my car, but for some reason when I switched over to the Hyundai, which was 2 years ago, I never put it back in. I never redid it, but I always had one. Because I was terrified I would be able to break down alone.
Yeah, see, but then there's a part of me that feels like if I did break down on the side of the road and it was pitch black out, I just want to keep it that way. I'll just get in the woods and continue walking. I'm not going to put a reflector on my back and let stranger danger know that I'm by myself.
Well, that's the point of having the backup charger, so you can charge your phone, so you can call somebody and say, "Hey, I'm on the side of the road," or have jumper cables so you can. Well, I wouldn't know how to do that. Down anybody?
No. It is. But I do think, what is the best suggestion for if you're a young woman by yourself in a car or a young man and you're just nervous about getting out? You can just, I guess you can call, if you have your cell phone, you can call 911.
Yeah, of course. If you're, like I said, if it's an emergency to you, it's an emergency to us, especially a young person or an elderly person. Just we'll get somebody out there.
Yeah, and I know that you truly do mean that in the police department, because when we used to have our office, like I feel very, very safe now. Our office is in, Pembroke Center. So I see you guys are always patrolling around here all the time. But when our office was up on Scoosett Street, I was always nervous because it's like right off the highway. Mm-hmm. Remember one night somebody like came knocking at the door and I was like in this fishbowl and he was asking me a question. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
and I was just,
I was like, don't call me, call the cops.
Yeah, I was like, this is strange. It's, 11:30 p.m. and you're knocking on a door, because I was there all the time. But there were times I was nervous and I would just call and just say, hey, if anybody's in the car, if they could just like drive through the parking lot while I run to my car.
Yeah.
But that's another good tip, I think, actually, is because what happened there is during daylight savings, like the lights didn't go on at the right time. You know what I mean? So it was dark in the parking lot before the lights came on. So that's where we are right now. So like my lights at my house are set to come on at 8:00, but it's already dark by then. So change those. Go ahead. Did you have other things too? Sorry.
Oh, well, hold on. I got to go through my thing. Obviously don't drive while distracted.
Mm-hmm. How do we get back to driving? Are we still in driving?
Well, I don't know. I was going back to the car.
Oh.
A tire pressure. Inspect your tire pressure. That's pretty.
Are these some items that, Wendy, that you gave us?
This is what Ken gave us.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Mary.
In the cold weather, tends to deflate. And that's happened to me a lot lately. So just make sure your tire pressure is, whatever it says on the inside of your door. It's usually like anywhere between 30 and 35.
It happens to me all the time, and I never know. I'm like, what do you mean? When one goes, the other one goes. Like, I'm like, I fill up this one, and then the next one goes. Like, okay, you guys are just playing with me now.
We only have 5 minutes left of the show. Okay. So anything else you guys want to talk about with safety in regard to anything safety?
Well, I just think that the fireplace, inspect your fireplace, I think that that's an important one. If it needs to be cleaned, I know Ken put that on his list usually with us. Fire pit safety. I think are we past the burning permit time? Like, I don't even know, but I don't think we should be burning dry leaves at any time soon. So, Wendy, are there any items, whether it's something that Ken gave us or something from the police department, that you would like to get across to our listeners when it comes to safety, or just anything in general?
I think finally, just about your car battery, if you haven't changed it in a while, it's important because you will end up stranded somewhere. So you can bring it to like ADAP and have them test it. And if you need a new one, just go ahead and do it, because you will end up on the side of the road stranded somewhere.
Wonderful. And then this one wasn't on our list, but I was talking to Ken about, we always have a pumpkin carving contest. So we were just wondering, is Trick or Treat happening this year? And then I thought that he mentioned that maybe you are involved in something for Halloween. Maybe is the town doing something, or some type of, he said something, maybe not. No?
So as far as I'm concerned, it's my favorite holiday. I would never cancel it. So Pima has had, we have not canceled anything. I do know that there are some trunk or treats going to be going on, but I don't have any plans other than maybe going to that on the 30th at Assembly of God.
Okay. Was there something about like Touch a Truck or something that was something was going on that he was telling me about that you were coordinating? So I don't know what he was talking about, but he's like, oh, reach out to Wendy. And I was like, okay. So I don't know. We'll have to ask him tomorrow what he was talking about.
I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to it if they are doing something.
Yeah. So if you love Halloween, you're going to love our, every year we have a contest and we give out gift cards. What do we give out? Like $100 gift card for the winners?
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazon or American
Express gift cards, like for $100. And it's a pumpkin carving contest.
And we do an adult contest and a children's. So we have 2 winners every year.
Yes,
I'm entering this year.
Yeah. And then what we'd like to do is we last year we couldn't as much just because of COVID, but we'd love to like line them up on like our on our farmer's porch and on the stone wall outside, so we can like have everything all lit up for us for Halloween, which falls on a Sunday this year, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, any other last thoughts, Wendy, that you want to share with us?
No, I just want to say thank you. It's so nice to see you again. And I look forward to seeing you hopefully again soon.
Yes, absolutely. And I really do appreciate you coming in. And I don't know what that says because I have my glasses on. What? Oh, yeah. But I do appreciate you coming again. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable with our team. And we were very fortunate tonight to have Lieutenant Wendy LaPierre. I love saying your name. I hope I'm saying it right because it sounds great when it rolls off my lips. To have you with us. And again, as I said at the beginning, it's so nice. Like your reputation is so wonderful. And I hope that you know that everybody in our community really just has very, very, very high regard for you and everything that you do for our town. So I've been here for 29 years. So a big portion of you being in our police department. And I just wanted to personally thank you for everything that you do for our town. So thank you.
Yeah. I just actually had a conversation about Wendy. I had never met her in person, but just had a conversation with somebody who used to be on the Pembroke Police Department. And he had everything nice to say about you. High praise.
So you do us proud. You really do. So I have goosebumps right now. So thank you so much for all of that. And if you're ever in the area and you need a water or a bubbly, you come on in here and we will, you can help yourself to the fridge. Mikasa Sukasa, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
All right. One thing that we do want to talk about real estate real quick. I know John's going to kick us off the air real quick, but our team has a new listing that is going to be coming live tomorrow. It is 54 Winds Drive in Pembroke, and that is a beautiful cape, sort of contemporary style cape. From the outside, it looks like a ranch.
WATD FM Marshfield, WBMS Brockton. The South Shore's first choice for live team coverage of breaking news, emergency traffic, and severe weather. WATD. Streaming online at 959WATD.com. And with your smart speaker, just by saying play WATD.
In the Gabby Petito case,
the remains have been positively identified.
Texas governor visits Del Rio where migrants have masked.
The Biden administration is doing nothing to secure our border.
President Biden promises UN relentless diplomacy.
Back at the table.